Okay, Drake, Universal, not like us. So many people have asked me about this since I am a music business attorney and publicly speak about the music business, so let's talk about it. Hi everyone, you are watching another episode of the Method to the Music show. I am your host, Tynia Coats, Ty Law, and yes, I think I'm just going to jump right into the episode today because why not? If you watched part 1 and part 2 on my Instagram and that's what brought you here, then you probably want to fast forward like 5 or 6 minutes so you can pick right up where you left off. First, I have to make it clear that Drake has not filed any lawsuits as of yet. He has filed certain documents with the Court of New York and the Court of Texas, but they were not the documents to officially start a lawsuit. For the document that he filed in New York, he is requesting to receive and review any and all emails, texts, WhatsApp messages, social media DMs, Zelle payments that occurred between Universal employees and Spotify, Universal employees and radio stations, between Universal employees and influencers, and anyone who makes bot accounts. He is requesting to look at any of these conversations where they communicated about the song Not Like Us, specifically conversations about the promo strategies for the song and any details of payments and benefits exchanged between Universal and the other parties I just mentioned. And this is so he can gather enough evidence to decide if he wants to bring a lawsuit against Universal, Spotify, and others under the RICO Act, the New York Deceptive Business Act, and the New York False Advertising Act, which I'm going to break that down further to you guys in part 2. Another reason why he is requesting to see these conversations is so he can see if there is anyone else that he should add to the lawsuit if he decides that there is enough evidence for him to move forward with the lawsuit. Because again, Drake has not filed a lawsuit for these things as of yet. Now, that was just the document that he filed in New York. Before the document that he filed in Texas, there he is requesting for the court to allow his attorneys to depose certain employees of iHeartMedia, because iHeartMedia is the largest audio media company in the US, and also to depose certain employees of Universal. And a deposition is basically like an interview that takes place outside of court, but you're still under oath, where the person must answer questions from the attorneys on both sides with the purpose of learning what the witness or the party knows about the details relating to the potential case, which here that would help Drake to uncover certain facts and evidence related to the payola schemes or bot practices. He also mentioned possibly bringing a defamation lawsuit, which his attorneys say that they actually have enough evidence to bring a defamation lawsuit already. So this deposition is only so they can move forward and get more info to clarify any issues relating to payola, fraud, or racketeering. Okay, I want to get into the RICO part of all of this. Now, RICO stands for the Racketeer, Influence, and Corrupt Organizations Act, and most people hear about RICO charges when it comes to gangs, and most recently in the music industry, this came up a lot with the Young Thug case. So you're probably wondering, what the F does that have to do with Universal and Not Like Us? Because that's nothing like that. Well, those fell under criminal RICO claims, but Drake is trying to see if there is enough evidence to possibly bring a civil RICO claim. And there are differences between the two. So with a criminal RICO claim, this is brought on by the government, so the feds or the state. They bring this against people or groups of people, gangs, who are allegedly engaging in organized criminal activity to punish them or to deter this type of organized criminal activity. With a civil RICO claim, these get brought on by people or by companies, and they're aimed at compensating these people who have suffered some type of harm due to an enterprise/organization's alleged racketeering activities. Racketeering activities for a criminal RICO claim are typically going to be things like murder, robbery, drug trafficking, human trafficking, and extortion. For a civil RICO claim, racketeering activities are going to be things like fraud, bribery, money laundering. For a civil RICO claim, which is what Drake will possibly file a lawsuit about, you have to prove certain elements to make your case. And the elements that Drake would have to prove are, one, that Universal, Spotify, and others like radio stations, bot operators, and influencers, that they all worked together as an organized enterprise. 2, that as an enterprise, they engaged in at least 2 racketeering activities, which Drake would claim wire fraud, mail fraud, and bribery, and possibly conspiracy as the racketeering activities. At least that's what I'm getting from the court document that he filed. 3, that Drake or Drake's LLC has suffered some type of harm or injury, which the court document says that there's been financial harm due to a loss of opportunities and diverting market share, streams, and attention from Drake's catalog to Not Like Us. And 4, that the financial harm was directly caused by Universal, Spotify, and the others' racketeering activities together. So this is why Drake has requested the court to order Universal and Spotify to turn over any texts, emails, Zelle payments, WhatsApp messages, social media DMs that talked about promo and payments for Not Like Us, so that Drake can see if there is enough evidence to prove that this amounts to a possible civil RICO claim. Now again, a RICO lawsuit is just one of the claims that Drake might possibly file. There are 2 other potential claims that were mentioned in the New York filing, but I want to touch on the defamation part from the Texas filing first. To prove defamation, you have to show that someone made a false statement and that they acted like the statement was a fact, not a joke or their opinion, that they published the statement to a third party, and that this harmed your reputation. And if you are a public figure, when Drake is a public figure, then there is an added element from a regular defamation claim where you have to also show that the person published the statement with malice. And malice means that they knew that these statements were false, or they recklessly disregarded that they were false, and they still decided to heavily push and promote the song anyway, which that's not too hard for Drake to prove, which is why his attorney said that they already have enough evidence that they need for that claim. Now, back to the New York Deceptive Business Practice Act and the New York False Advertising Act. I don't think I need to go too deep into these because they're both similar. So if Drake were to file a lawsuit making these claims, then the Deceptive Business Practice Act, that's so hard to say. That act, the main part would be that he has to prove that Universal and these other companies did things to deceive the public, and for the False Advertising Act, that they intentionally misled or deceived the public through false or misleading statements that they made while advertising and promoting Not Like Us. And with the facts from the filing, this is where Drake said that Universal used bots to inflate the streaming metrics, and this is based on certain bot operators actually admitting that they were hired to inflate the streams. They also said that they were influencers who were hired to promote the song, but they never disclosed that it was paid promotion, which under the FTC themselves have said that it counts as illegal payola if an influencer is paid to endorse or review a song and acts like it's their honest review without mentioning that they were paid to endorse it or review it. And another point when it comes to false advertising is that Interscope posted on their Twitter account that Not Like Us has become the fastest rap song to reach 300 million streams in just 1 month. Meanwhile, millions of these streams were possibly from bots, and one bot operator even said that he got the song 30 million bot streams within the first week of the song's release, which is crazy. 30 million is crazy. Yeah. So currently, these are all of the possible claims that Drake might bring a lawsuit for. But for now, we have to wait and see if the court is going to approve Drake's requests. And if so, then are these other companies even going to fully comply? Because throughout history, Universal has been ordered to do so multiple times for many different lawsuits from other people and companies, but they just didn't comply, and they took whatever fines and sanctions they gave them for not complying with the court's orders. So it is sometimes more beneficial for them to just disregard the court's orders and pay whatever they got to pay. Yeah. However, though, I do want to make a point that this is very different from the other times in the past where Universal refused to comply and just had to pay fines, because some of the facts of these claims are the first of their kind, and courts have never even ruled on these particular things with these particular facts. And it's also different than those other lawsuits because it involves one of the biggest artists of the past century, Drake, and Kendrick Lamar had one of the biggest songs of the year and in rap history. So a lot of the time when smaller artists bring lawsuits against these huge music business companies, they can just sue them. They can just shoo them away because people don't really care and they don't have the money to fight it. But here, the public is invested and Drake has the money, and it involves some of the biggest companies in the world. So if the court orders Universal to comply and they don't, then this time they might end up punishing Universal with crazier repercussions than we've ever seen, instead of just simply fining them or sanctioning them. So I'm very interested to see how all this is going to play out, because I truly have no idea why Drake would go this route and risk such extreme reputational harm. I like to think that Drake is playing chess, not checkers, and has a bigger motive for doing all of this than we're all aware of, because I will say that I hear a lot of people saying right now that Drake is just in his feelings about losing the beef. But I really don't think that this is what this is, guys. I do think that he misjudged Kendrick and how this was all going to play out, and that he doesn't feel great about it. But I honestly believe that Drake is not that bitter towards Kendrick. I think that he accepted the L as a rap beef. Drake honestly didn't even come for Kendrick in these court filings. So I don't think he really cares that much. I don't think he's that bitter about that. I do, however, think that Drake is furious towards Universal and these other music companies, because he has made them billions of dollars throughout his career, billions, and then they worked overtime to destroy his reputation and profit off of that as well. And yes, Universal, they couldn't just say fuck Kendrick and not promote the song. That's the label's job. And I think that Drake 100% knew that, yes, they were going to be promoting the song, because hello, that's the music business. But I don't think he thought that they were going to employ promotional tactics and strategies that they've never done before. And if they did do before, they never did it to the level that they did it for this song. Like, a lot of people are focusing on the bots and fake streams, which it was done at an extreme level. But there was another tactic I found interesting when reading through the court filings, which was that Universal also removed the copyright restrictions off of YouTube and Twitch for Not Like Us, which normally if you use a song in a YouTube video or a Twitch stream, then you have to have permission or a license to do so. So taking off the copyright restrictions for that song is wild. It's wild, and it's definitely not their typical business practice. Let me tell you that. I can tell you from my own clients and from working at other music business companies that Universal has one of the best systems in place for tracking the use of their music on YouTube and getting any of those videos flagged for removal that they didn't get permission from them to use. So I think Drake was like, damn, y'all really tried to play me after I helped to build you guys up. So now I'm just going to burn it all down. And yeah, I don't really know what his true intentions are, but I do think he's trying to dismantle the music industry at this point. And I'm all here for it, because if you have watched my channel, or if you've been watching my channel for the past however many years, then you know that I truly care about the art and the artists and liberating you guys. And there is so much that goes on behind closed doors in the music business that needs to be exposed, so you guys can see that it's just a lot of smoke and mirrors, for real. It's actually really been bothering me that so many people have just so casually been saying, yeah, well, payola's always been a thing, and the labels, all the labels use bots, so that's just how it is. But I don't think you guys are understanding just how real those effects are. Okay, so the streaming companies, they pay royalties based on the amount of streams that were on their platform altogether during that period. So if there are hundreds of millions of fake streams, then that heavily dilutes the rate that you are getting paid for your streams. And this doesn't just affect indie artists. This also affects the artists who are on major labels, because once the streaming platforms pay the money to the labels, then the label calculates what percentage of streams that artist had out of all the label streams, and then they pay them based off of that percentage. So if they gave one artist a couple 100,000 fake bot streams, but then they gave this other artist 100 million fake bot streams, then they're going to get more of that money that they didn't even earn. They didn't even earn it. It was all manipulated. It was, I'm not going to say all, because they still have their own real streams, but still, if we're talking about hundreds of thousands and even millions now, 30 million streams is what was claimed by one of the bot operators inside Drake's filings. So that can honestly heavily dilute and mess up your guys' money and your rates. You guys too, not just Drake and Kendrick. you guys as well. I can even go another route with this. Like when it comes to gold and platinum certifications, for a song to go gold, you need to move like 500,000 units, and a stream, 150 streams is equal to 1 unit. So that's 75 million streams. So if you are buying millions of fake streams, then you will easily hit 75 million streams. Then you got yourself a gold plaque, got yourself a gold certification, and you didn't even earn it. You didn't even earn it. It was all fixed. I should actually calm my ass down right now, though. Woosah. Got a little too into it, but my whole point was that even though I don't know what Drake's intentions are, I don't think we are seeing the full picture just yet. And as an attorney, I can tell you that there are many situations where you have to do certain things and make certain claims just so you can build a foundation that will allow you to get to something else, and that something else is your actual end game, your true goal. So I like to think that Drake is doing that because I am a big Drake fan, and I can't imagine him just being this bitter and blind to the repercussions. But that's where we're at right now, and it's definitely not a good look right now. But we're all about to just be taken on this wild ride. To where? Who knows? We'll hopefully soon find out. But yeah, this was a fun one, guys. I'm serious. I thoroughly enjoyed researching this case and going through it. If you want me to keep doing this, then please hit subscribe and subscribe to my YouTube channel. It is free for you to do, and it helps me to make money to keep on making videos. And this does take time, guys. So yeah. Also, please like and comment. Beyond monetization, your comments are really what motivates me sometimes to keep making videos, because Lord knows I have 5 million jobs and I also be out in these streets. So time to make videos is the opposite of plentiful. Also, follow me on Instagram. I've been posting a lot of behind the scenes stories or content of different cool music industry events that I go to. I do some rants in my stories that a lot of people like or love. And if I'm doing any panels or speaking engagements, then I normally mention them in my stories on Instagram as well. But love you guys. In the meantime, in between time, do not get lost in the madness that is the music business, because there is a method to the music.